Level 1. The kid who watches the ocean. You are 16 years old, and you are standing at the edge of a pier in Norfolk. The ship in front of you is the largest moving object you have ever seen. It is an aircraft carrier, USS Dwight D. Eisenhower. It sits in the water the way mountains sit in the earth. The flight deck is 4.5 acres of steel. There are 5,000 people living inside that thing right now. From where you stand, you cannot hear a single one of them. You came here with your uncle, who works in base maintenance. He was right to bring you. He had no idea how right he was. You live in a town in eastern Kentucky where the main employers are a Walmart distribution center and a dying coal operation. Your father works at the distribution center. His father worked the coal. That is the shape of the world you have known. But the ship is a different shape entirely. You don't know anything about the Navy yet. You don't know the ranks or the rates. You don't know about the middle of the Pacific Ocean at 3 in the morning when the stars are so thick they look painted. You just know that this enormous, impossible, steel city floating in salt water is going somewhere and you want to go with it. Level 2. The recruit. You are 17 and your mother signed the paperwork. She signed it without crying. You are at Recruit Training Command, Great Lakes, Illinois. It is January. You stepped off the bus at 0200 hours. A man in a uniform was waiting. He was interested in whether your body could be moved as fast as he said. You are a seaman recruit E1. The floor, everything from here is upward and upward requires work. You wake at 0500. You run. You do push-ups and sit-ups in numbers that seemed impossible the first week. You learn to make your rack with corners so sharp that a quarter bounced on the blanket will actually bounce. You learn to march. You learn to move as a unit, to stop thinking of yourself as an individual and start as a component. You learn the sailor's creed. I represent the fighting spirit of the Navy and those who have gone before me. The nights are the hardest part. The nights are quiet enough to think about the distance between here and home. But you don't quit. Quitting has a face, and the face is your mother signing that paper without crying. 8 weeks pass. You graduate. You are no longer a recruit. The ship is waiting. Level 3. The apprentice. You are 18 and you are on a ship and the ship is moving and the ocean is real. Your rate is bosun's mate, BM, responsible for the deck, the lines, the anchors, and the seamanship. The bosun's mate works on deck. In the Atlantic in November, the cold comes off the water like something personal. Every line on the ship has a name and a purpose. Knowing them is not optional. The work continues. You learn to handle small boats, the rigid hull inflatable boats used for rescues and transfers. Your rack is in the berthing compartment. 60 men in a space designed for 40. Rack stacked 3 high. The ship is never silent. The engines are always running. The hull talks to the water in groans and vibrations. 6 months at sea. The Mediterranean. Gibraltar, which is exactly as dramatic as it sounds. Naples, where the city is historically overwhelming. Bahrain, 115 degrees on deck in August. You come home. Your mother meets you at the pier. She cries this time. Level 4. The petty officer, 3rd class, E4. You are 20 and you have been promoted. The promotion means something specific and practical. You are now a petty officer, 3rd class, APO 3. You have authority and responsibility you did not have before, arriving slightly before you felt ready for it, which is how responsibility always arrives. You are a bosun's mate, 3rd class, BM 3. You wear 1 chevron and a crossed anchor's insignia, the oldest rating badge in the Navy. You wear it with the specific pride of a man who earned something, not the pride of someone who was given something. You have junior sailors under your supervision now. E1 South and E2 South, who were where you were 2 years ago, new, uncertain, and learning. Your job is to show them the right way as many times as it takes for them to stop needing to be shown. The hardest part is being in charge of people who are struggling, and having to hold the standard anyway, and doing it without contempt. You study for and pass your advancement exam, which covers seamanship, naval history, leadership, and technical knowledge. You have to be good, and the Navy has to need you at the next level. That combination determines when you move up. You deploy again, this time the Pacific. The actual physical scale of the Pacific Ocean is something that doesn't translate into words. You pull into Pearl Harbor and look at the USS Arizona Memorial and understand something about the institution you serve. The Navy is old the way geology is old. It has layers, and the layers are made of people. Your job is to do your part well enough that the layer above and below you connect properly, and the whole thing holds. Level 5, the 2nd class petty officer, 2nd class E5. You are 23 and you are starting to understand the ship. You understand it now the way a person understands a city they've lived in for years. The rhythm, the logic, the way it breathes. As a BM2, your job is to be the transmission between the leaders who set the standard and the junior sailors who execute it. You have a sailor who is technically competent but personally chaotic. His seamanship is better than average, but his uniform is always slightly wrong. You figure it out eventually. His mother is sick. He has been sending money home and not sleeping properly. The Navy has family support services because a sailor's life at sea and at home are not separable. He makes E4 6 months later. He finds you and shakes your hand. It is one of the best moments of your career. You re-enlist for more years. The Navy is your life now. The shape of the world as you have come to know it. Level 6. The First Class Petty Officer, First Class E6. You are 27 and the chief is watching you. The first classes are the next chiefs. The Navy's quality depends on whether the right first classes get selected. You are the senior technical expert, the person junior sailors come to for knowledge, and the chief comes to for results. You have 9 sailors. You know them like a craftsman knows his tools, their limits, and their specific conditions for best performance. You are studying for chief. The selection board reviews your entire record, evaluations, awards, and leadership history. The chief is the standard made flesh. You learned what right looked like by watching the man on the horse at 7 years old. You put in your package. You wait. Level 7. The chief. You are 30 and you have been selected, and the selection is the beginning of something unique. Chief Petty Officer initiation is 6 weeks long. It is conducted by existing chiefs, and what happens in it stays in it. At the end of 6 weeks you are not the same person who entered, and the change is not superficial. You receive the anchors. When existing chiefs place them on your collar, with your family watching, something closes and something opens simultaneously. The opening is the chief you are. You are now part of the Chief's Mesa community, with its own culture and standards that is more personal than the formal chain of command. A newly pinned chief sits with a Master Chief of 30 years. The Master Chief does not pull rank, he teaches. The instruction is constant. Your relationship with officers changes. The junior officers are younger, and the Navy has a balanced relationship between the chief and the junior officer. You tell a young lieutenant junior, grade, quietly and privately, the truth about a decision. You do not undermine him. You give him information. Level 8, the senior chief. You are 36 and the senior enlisted advisor for your department. You have deployed 9 times across 4 oceans. You are the institutional memory. Officers rotate, but you stay. Continuity is a form of competence, requiring someone who was there before the current officer. A senior chief who does this well is invisible. The officer makes the right decision, and your contribution is seamlessly integrated into their judgment. You could retire at 20. You think about Kentucky, your father's back, and the ship at the pier when you were 16. You reach Level 9, the Master Chief. You are 42 and the Command Master Chief, the top of the enlisted structure, 3 stars above the anchors. You are the advisor to the captain. You tell him what the sailors are actually experiencing, not just what the reports say. You know everything. You know who is struggling and who is exceptional. You have been a sailor for 24 years, and you know when things are wrong. You have buried sailors and you carry them with you, as the knowledge that the standard you hold keeps more sailors off that list. Level 10, the cycle. You are 45 on a pier in Norfolk. There is a ship at the pier, and at the fence, a kid. He looks at your uniform, your rank, and the 6 service stripes on your arm. You ask, you thinking about enlisting? He nods. You tell him one true thing about boot camp and deployment. Behind you, the kid is still watching the ship. He'll find the recruiter. The ship will sail. It always does. The cycle is the point. It was always the cycle.